Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome to the half-off gym sale ultimate guide that we have for you guys. This list was put together by the DLE New Player Helper team, so if you have any in-depth questions or anything you'd like to add, definitely go check out the Discord, because that is where they all pretty much huddle up and talk to each other. This video actually is going to have two parts to it. We're going to have the best half-off full decks that you can buy right now with the gym sale, and then the second part will be the staple cards, the individual staple cards that you can get outside of just the full individual decks. So you have like the full knowledge of what you can do when you're spending those gems. This series took a lot of work from across a lot of people from the different departments of the team. So before we get started, like, comment, subscribe. It really does help us out a lot. We have a lot of our viewers aren't subscribed at all. So if you want more new player help guide videos, if that's the type of content that you like, you can give us feedback by subscribing, commenting, interacting with our stuff. That's how we get into the algorithm, and that's how we know that's the type of content you guys like, and we can provide more of it. Boom, there you go. Getting right into it. Magnets. There's going to be a little tier you can see next to all the different decks. And this isn't tier as in how good it is, you know, in the actual game. It's how good it is for cost-wise for the half-off gyms. If you have the half-off gyms, how good is purchasing this deck? And just to add on, there are a couple errors. For example, Spirit of the Beast in this graphic. We did assume that Konami would go a little bit higher than what they did, but things like Spirit of the Beast is not actually half off, but they're still on here to let you know that this is available, because decks like Magnets, you can pretty much get the core for half off. You just can't get the magnetic field, which is super important. But Magnet's still a very powerful deck. It's actually even a very powerful competitive tournament deck. So it's not just King of Games that you're getting with this. You can also do competitiveness in terms of tournaments. Yeah, the extra deck, you're going to have to spend a little bit more. That's outside of the realm of the half off gym sale. But getting these core cards for super cheap, especially like, the things from a mini box like the Berserk is super powerful. This deck's really good at grinding out games. You can play with Destiny Draw, as some of you guys have seen in the VODs for our tournaments. Fantastic deck. Definitely recommend it. One of the best half-off gym sales, at least the core of Magnets. The rest, of course, you're going to have to spend some more jimmies to get. Trimids. While you're going for Magnets, you can also get Trimids. Trimids, while they're not super competitive in the actual tournament scene, is a very strong ladder deck, and it comes all from Guardians of Rock, essentially, and then one extra card from the Sphinx. This deck is already super inexpensive, now made even more inexpensive by the half-off gym sale. And is a very powerful strategy. The only reason it's a little bit less is because you can't really use them that well in tournaments. But as metas shift, there's always possibilities that this might move up to a tier 2 position. Very strong contender. You grab your Trimid core, you grab your Trimid Sphinx, and then you go into your extra deck. You're good to go at that point. So definitely I would recommend getting those Trimids. Vindrids, you guys know how it is. I did Rise to Cog with Vindrids, and I did it in literally a week, and that was without the 50% gem sale. You could go in right now, Curse of Dread, buy this deck. Not that this isn't the version I did, but definitely go check out the Rise to Cog version if you want this version. This version is a Shiranui based version with synchros and stuff like that, which is also pretty cool if you want to check it out for half-off gym sale purposes. And this is a very easy coggable deck that you can build very quickly. It's all in one mini box. I love Vindrids. They are super awesome. The main strategy here is to ritual summon and then go into your synchro deck with your ritual summons, with your glow up blooms and stuff like that. And then your Shiranui can be banished from the graveyard to then initiate a synchro summon. Very strong deck, very reliable. A lot of its natural counters are out of the metagame, essentially. So Harpies is only the last one, waiting for that Harpies Hunting Ground to go away, and then you pretty much have good matchups across the board. With Vindredis, definitely I would recommend them as a really powerful deck to use. 6 Samurai. Now, Six Samurai is an interesting one because a lot of it is half off gems. You can see here in the preview, they can also get Book of Moon. Book of Moon's very powerful in this deck, and it's free to play now. So if you get this deck completely free to 50% jump off gem sale, you have so many leftover gems to then go in and go get your Book of Moons and whatnot. I also did a Rise to Cog with Six Samurai before the half off gem sale, so you could also follow that as well if you want to go check out that video. And again, it's really just the extra deck that you'll be spending your extra gems on once you get all these other cards off the half off gem sale, Crusaders Battlegrounds and Warriors Unite. Very, very, very competent deck. Very standard strategies. You summon out the Shien, he negates spell traps, Inishi bounces monsters, and then if whatever extra deck monsters you can get. Malevolent Sin's really good for clearing out the board for lethal. Excalibur really good for warriors to get OTK. Very, very strong deck. Heavily recommend. Very easy to cog with. Black Wings. Now these decks come with a little bit, we're hitting the tier 3 territory here. You can get Black Wings, but Black Wings is in a little bit of a rough position. It's not that great, if we're being totally honest with you guys. But it is considered, since Aerial Assault and Black Storm Rising are on that 50% gem sale, it is worth considering purchasing these boys. Because there is a lot of URs here, but being at that half off sale, that's when you start to kind of see diminishing returns on the cards. But it might be interesting to play if you like the OTK style deck, kind of all in, if you will. If you spent your dream tickets on MST, this might be a valuable choice for you. Definitely, you might want to look into Black Wings if you're looking for more OTK potential. And the last deck we have to bring up is from the highest you can go, Valhalla Calling, or Valhalla Calling rather. Dark Lords. Dark Lords are extremely cheap right now. Lords of Shining was already in the mini box, and of course the Valhalla Calling. Boom, you're good to go. You can get the Banishment, which is what you're looking for. You can also get some other really good stuff with Valhalla Calling, which we'll get into later. Dark Lords is extremely nerfed, but for the price that you're getting them, it's actually not that bad, right? It does take quite a steep learning curve to learn, but if you're just looking for King of Games, it's actually really cheap. One mini box, one main box, half off gems. You have the full deck, and if you can learn how to play it, it's one of those decks that people don't know how to play against. So there you go. You don't even really need the extra, if we're being honest. Again, all the extra deck stuff, that's just if you have leftover gems that you want to spend and really make the deck good. You don't need this. You can honestly just play the core, and you'll probably be completely fine. All right, moving along to the more important section of the 50% gem sale. The best usage of the 50% gem sale, in my opinion, is to gather up staple cards, because staple cards, you can use them in a variety of different decks. You're not just limited to that one singular deck. So that's typically where you want to spend your resources, especially if you can, use that card in multiple different decks. Now we're just gonna go over all the different types. So extra deck monsters, normal monsters, spell traps, blah 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 blah, one at a time. Starting off with your extra deck staples. Black Rose Dragon, one of the best summonable level 7 monsters, really strong, wipe out the whole board, very powerful in meta strategies, off meta strategies. You see it all the time. Definitely high priority on that Black Rose Dragon if you are able to get it. We also have the Vermilion Dragon Mech. Anything that can make a level 9 plays this guy. You banish a tuner, which is what you would use to summon him in the first place, and boom, you can pop any card on your opponent's side of the field. Very strong. So anything that can use that definitely wants to take advantage of it. Samurai Destroyer, again with the level 7. The level 7 pool is cracked. This guy, I always meme around that whenever he is in your deck, he becomes your boss monster. When he attacks, he flat out turns off the effects of the monsters in your, but it turns them off. So if there's an effect that's active, like Casitas can't be targeted, Bloom Diva can't be destroyed, whatever, they lose their effects. They lose them straight up. Makes him very strong. And then Quarion is a very good target for Tech Genus, for Cristrons. Any deck that is capable of making him that does end up making him, makes him a very powerful strategy when taking out your opponent. In terms of middle priority, we have the Mistbird Clausius. Pretty cool card for being a level 3, 0 attack, and it's kind of hard to make a level 3 synchro, if we're being honest, but any deck that could make it does have a very capable card in terms of defensive strategies and being able to negate monster effects, so could be potentially really good if your deck plays it. Fortune Lady Every is a very powerful card because it has a non-targeting banish and it can keep reviving itself. However, you do need to synchro it off with a magician monster, so not as many decks are going to be able to summon this. All the ones above the high priorities were all generic monsters. There's also Scrap Dragon, who isn't bad. It's a level 8. Level 8's kind of hard to make, if we're being honest, and the effect isn't that great. Destroy an opponent's monster, but you do have to destroy one of your own monsters. Just very niche what decks end up using it, so it's not really too crazy. On the lower end of the priority, we have Stardust Charge Warrior. Got this guy at level 6. He's used in very few decks here and there, Infernity, stuff like that, to draw a card. He's usually just there just to draw a card or to be used as a combo piece. Not very useful, but, you know, if you have nothing else, could be something to go for. Ancient Fairy Dragon is one of those cards that's probably going to be broken in the future when we get more field spells, but right now is mostly used just to search Necro Valley. So if you play a Necro Valley based strategy, like something like Black Wings, for example, you could definitely go for that. And then Armades used to be really, really good, but he basically, whenever he attacks, your opponent can't activate any effects. This works with a direct attack, so it's like a worse Samurai Destroyer, although Samurai Destroyer does not activate when swinging directly. So against like cantraps and stuff like that, Armades would be good. You have to go into that level 5, which can be hard for some decks. Here we go, big beefy one, Spell and Trap Cards. Oh my goodness. Spells are insane when it comes to the 50% off gem sale. High priority, starting off Cosmic Cyclone. The Cosmic Box is really bad, so whenever it's on half off gem sales, if you are free to play and you did not use a dream ticket on it, you definitely want to max out at 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. Pay 1,000, banish a spell or trap on the board. Very powerful effect. Not only does it remove back row, but it also helps you trigger your skills. So definitely something you want to try and do for your 50% gems, especially if you're not getting it. If you want to get, for example, MST with your dream ticket instead, very good target to hit with this instead. The forbidden items, Forbidden Lance and Forbidden Chalice, both are extremely good. Forbidden Lance just actually came with the newest update, so that's something that you can get for sure if you haven't already. Chalice, negate a monster effect. Lance makes your card unaffected by other spells and trap. Very powerful effects that can be activated in the damage step, so can be activated later than most cards to get their effects. Very powerful cards. Definitely want to make sure that you are maxed out on all 3 of these if possible. Mid priority, we do have Power of the Guardian on here. On second thought, this might be more of a low priority thing. Power of the Guardian, it's just super cheap to get it with the gym sale, and that can help with like farming. It's not so much in PvP that you'll be using it, maybe at like low level. I'd probably drop it to low priority over this. Basically makes your monster indestructible by battle and card effect if you have tokens on it, and you get a token every time you swing in, so pretty cool. Double Cyclone can be a good little thing to use before you get more back row removal. Pop one of your opponent's monsters, spells or traps, pop one of your own spell traps, and then Necro Valley. While a powerful card is more of a tournament card rather than a coggable strategy. You don't really need Necro Valley in any deck to be good in, but is really good in the tournament scene, so something to keep in mind. Concentrating Current, really powerful. You can cheese a lot of wins. It gives you your defense as attack points. It adds them together for one massive hit. Problem is, it's limited to 2, so not many decks are going to be able to use it. Poisonous Wind makes it so you can't special summon wind monsters. They also lose 500 attack points. Really strong in tournament play, but again, when you're in the ladder, you go up against a deck not playing wind, this is going to be completely useless. Galaxy Cyclone, really strong. However, it's just not as good as Cosmic or MST. And it doesn't work under Necro Valley, so which is, you know, one of the big cards it could take out if it was able to banish itself, but unfortunately just not good enough to really be considered to be too good. Megaroid City, basically you're just going to use this to search your Kiteroid by popping your own cards. So yeah, just unless you're playing a Kiteroid based deck, you don't really need this, and even then you don't even really necessarily need it. Herald the Abyss, pretty cool. Pay 1500 life to remove non-targetedly a monster on your opponent's side of the board. by declaring their type and attribute. There are just better removal tools these days, and not many decks use Herald of the Abyss, but this card used to be very high priority, and in reality, you're probably only going to play one if you do end up playing it. And then Fire Formation Goki, which is a decent card because they can't activate the card that you target when you try to stop it. However, there's just better back row removal tools now, and this doesn't even permanently remove the card. It's still available for usage. Just they have to get rid of Goki, or they activate another card first, then activate the card that Goki was targeting. So there are your spells. Getting into the monsters here, nothing is too crazy when it comes to individual monsters, so we don't have anything on too high priority, but mid priority, Sphere Karibo, kicking things off in the very first box ever released in Duel Links. This guy is a really good hand trap. It's just things like Kiteroid and Battle and Boxer over time have become kind of better, and Sphere Karibo is usually used in conjunction with those cards or Destiny Draw, so it's not like a massive thing to go for, but and also you can buy him with like, you know, for like $2 in the cash shop, so it's not even like a huge deal to spend your gems on this. But if you're missing one, or if you only have two or something, might be worth looking into. It's a very powerful card. Put your basically when your opponent swings, you put that monster in defense mode. Really good. You do have Sonic Bird and Sanju. These two kind of come hand in hand. One searches a ritual spell, one searches a ritual monster. I personally like Sonic Bird more because most decks have ways to search monsters, just not their spell cards. Yeah, unless you're playing a ritual deck, these cards are pretty much useless, so there's no reason to go for them. Psychic Wielder can be really cool, and level 3 strategies can be used for rank 3s, synchro 3s, but you have to have a deck that is, you know, going for that in the first place. So, and those decks might have a, you know, limited space to actually play this card. And then we have Trifortratops, which could be a cool defensive card, but again, your deck just has to be willing to play around it and have it. And of course, your opponent has to play a deck that summons a whole bunch of monsters to get its effect in the first place. Another minor correction on this graphic: Super Team Buddy Force Unite, again, from the Ritual Beast box. So rest in peace, Konami Y. Sorry about that. All right, and rounding it up, the trap cards. Here we are, boys. You already know, Treacherous Trap Hole. It's the best trap in the game. It has been for a year. It's really good. If you can get it with 50% gem sale, so you don't have to use your dream tickets, because it is in a mini box, very high priority. Make sure to get 2 of these. Every deck that can use this should be using this. It literally can win you games on its own. That's really all you have to say about it. Destroy 2 monsters on your opponent's side of the board. Floodgate Trap Hole is now limit 3, but it's still very powerful, especially when we get into more pendulum-based strategy. Can flip multiple cards face down, so that's really good for them. Mid-priority Drowning Mirror Force. This card's been going up in value. It's really strong. If you get attacked directly, you can banish, or return the cards that are in attack mode to your opponent's deck, which is a very strong, you know, then you just follow up and kill your opponent. That's the plan. And the only downside is it is a battle trap, and battle traps are always kind of hit or miss, right? Not being able to control when you activate your cards is very not so good. Powerful Rebirth is very powerful. If you can get it from the structure, do it. If not, good time to get it with the 50% gem sale. Really good in decks like Magnus, for example, that can abuse the revive that you can get from it over and over. Ultimate Providence. Counter traps are very powerful because you cannot chain to them unless it's other counter traps. And if you're not getting the structure deck, you can just get it here instead of having to go through the structure deck multiple times. Super Team Buddy Force Unite, very powerful card for letting you revive. Again based on types and whatnot. So again, if you're playing a revival archetype like Magnets, very strong for that. Canadia, which is still really good. Not as good as Floodgate right now, but it's still very strong. It's even with Book of Moon in the game. Flip down an opponent's monster, and if you activate another trap card, you can summon the Canadia from your graveyard. You can exceed and synchro with this Canadia, so keep that in mind if you're playing that archetype. And then on the lower priority, Unending Nightmare, really strong against Pendulum decks. Pendulum decks aren't that much of a threat, so no huge, you know, deal to really go for that. Pay 1,000 life points, pop a face-up card once per chain. You can do it multiple times a turn. Void Trap Hole can be a pretty cool card, but sometimes is not too powerful. it's very specific, 2000 effect monster, and then it has to be, it's a 1 effect, has to be then and there when it's summoned, so not super useful. Wall of Disruption, AoE, reduce everyone's attack points. I think Drowning is just better at this point if you're going for a Battle Trap. Again, Battle Traps are very hard to use. And then Wall of D, just reducing the attack rather than getting rid of problematic monsters, isn't too good in the current metagame. Stygian Dirge really used to be really good, not so good anymore, reducing levels of things. You flip it up, it's more of a side deck card, again, for tournament play. And then Divine Wrath is in a pretty crappy box, so you may want to consider getting it during the half-off gym sale, so you don't have to buy it at full price. And that's pretty much it, boys. Nice, easy, painless. Those are all of the cards and decks that we would recommend. Again, I apologize for any errors on the graphic. We thought that there would be more boxes coming out in the 50% gym sale, but they only added 1, so we kind of had to adjust our graphics kind of last minute. This video was supposed to come out way earlier, but hey, it's out. That's what matters, right? So if there's anything on here that's just not half off gym sale, just ignore that for the most part. Thank you guys for watching. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm DLE Ryan from the New Player Helpers, from GN, who made the graphics. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Till next time, peace out.